If you've tried EC on your own, but your baby is refusing the potty, or maybe it was going well for a while, for a couple months, but all of a sudden they're mobile, they're crawling, and they want nothing to do with it, there is one simple reason, and it's not what you think. In today's episode, I'm going to show you exactly what it is and how to fix it. Hello and welcome to Held and Heard. This is a podcast for pregnant and postpartum mamas who want to feel more connected to their babies and more confident in themselves. Here, we talk about elimination communication and infant potty learning as a way of listening, not as something to add to your plate, but as a way to better understand what your baby has been communicating from the very beginning. This is a place where you learn to trust your baby and yourself. I'm your host, Heather Medlin, mother of 3, infant potty learning educator, and founder of Ready from Birth, where I guide postpartum mamas through every stage of early potty learning, from birth to toilet independence. Each week, I'll help you slow down, tune in, and discover just how aware and capable your baby already is, so you can meet them with confidence instead of doubt. Your baby is communicating, and you are capable of listening. Let's get started. The truth is, mama, your baby is refusing the potty because they simply don't need to go when you're offering. You have an accuracy problem. They simply do not need to go because you're offering at the wrong time. And you can think about this in terms of Goldilocks and the 3 bears. If you are offering too late, then they just went in their diaper and they know that they don't need to go right now. Your baby is going to react frustrated, maybe even angry. They're probably going to stiffen their body. They're going to stick their legs out. They're going to refuse to sit down. It's not going to happen. If you offer too early and you're preemptively offering because your baby just had a meal or they just woke up from a nap or you're doing the transition and so you're offering the potty because you think your baby probably needs to go right now, but they don't because you're not actually offering on a signal, you're offering based on timing, then they're probably going to be frustrated and uninterested. Maybe they'll sit down. Maybe they'll kick around for a little while. Maybe they'll even get you to read them a book. Super, quality time. They love that. But nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to come out. And eventually, if you continue to do this, your baby is going to get really frustrated with you and they're going to start to refuse the potty, especially once you have a mobile baby who has many other better things to do than sit on the potty when they don't need to go. The sweet spot is to offer right on time, just in time pottying. This is what I teach in my courses and the method that I have used simply out of necessity because I'm a mom of 3 kids and I did postpartum with my 3rd on my own. My husband and I were separated during that time. Praise God that we are back together and things are going so much better now. But during that postpartum with my 3rd baby, I was taking care of a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn alone for 12 weeks. Yeah. And I was doing EC from birth, and I had him fully waiting and signaling for the potty by 10 weeks using the method that I teach in the Born Ready course. Timing is everything when you're talking about communication. The whole point of elimination communication, in my understanding, is that we are responding to our baby's real body language, real communication that they need to go. The premise of everything that I teach here and why I do this is that your baby is born aware of their body and when they need to go. I trust God's design in this, that they come out just like they know that, they know how to wiggle up and find mama's boob and nurse right away. They know how to let you know that they're hungry. They know how to let you know that they're sleepy. They also know when they need to go potty and how to let you know to do that. The problem is that most of us are slapping our baby in a diaper from the moment they're born. Okay, it's not you, it's the hospital, let's be honest, and everybody around you. Your baby is handed to you in a diaper, and the signals are immediately masked by this modern day invention that's been around for about 60 years. And it's not your fault. Everything around you is telling you that babies need diapers, put the baby in a diaper, 12 hours dryness, overnight, you're all good to go. But the truth is, when that is masking the communication that your baby is already giving you from birth, then it can be really hard to understand when your baby is actually signaling. For the pre-crawling months prior to ditching the diapers, you want a diaper that protects your baby's sensitive skin and provides feedback and a sensation of wetness, especially if you're doing EC. Hero is the perfect combo. It's made of blanket soft, unbleached wood pulp, no gross plastic gel that you find in conventional diapers, and it's free of the toxic bromothol blue, that wetness indicator strip that often turns from yellow to blue. It has a slower wicking core that both pulls moisture away and lets your baby know that something happened. The best part? Hero developed some earth-friendly sidekicks that come with plastic-eating friendly fungi that literally break down the entire diaper, pulp, plastic, poop, and all, in the landfill in a matter of months, not 400 years like conventional diapers. If you want to try the most sustainable, EC-approved diaper on the market, visit herodiapers.com and use the code READYFROMBIRTH for a lifetime discount on your Hero subscription. You are going to love it. But with the method that I teach in Ditch the Diapers, you won't need them for long. So the mistake that most people make when they find me and they find about EC and they learn about it, they're like, wow, this is really great. I want to do this. And so maybe they try it with their baby. They try offering the potty. They try the easy catches, as they're called, where you offer right after a meal or right after your baby wakes up or during transitions. But if you are just offering at what seems to be the right time and you're not actually offering when your baby is telling you that they need to go, then 9 times out of 10, and especially as your baby gets older and has to go less and less frequently, they're not going to need to go. The timing of when you're offering and the timing of when they need to go are simply going to stop lining up, and you are going to have less and less success as time goes on because you never learned how to do this based on communication in the first place. How do you actually see when your baby is communicating that they need to go potty? There's 2 core principles that underpin absolutely everything else, and that is keep your baby close and watch for the shift. Keep your baby close because you're not going to know what's happening if your baby is in the other room and you're cooking dinner and your baby is sitting in a playpen or sitting under a baby gem doing something while you're distracted and doing something else. You're going to have no idea when it's happening, and timing is not going to save you. If you are wearing your baby in a wrap or a carrier, or you are breastfeeding your baby, or you're co-sleeping with your baby, or you're just simply holding your baby, any of those things where your baby is physically on your body, when your baby is next to you or very, very close to you, you are going to be instantly aware when something changes. You're going to be instantly aware when their energy shifts. And when I talk about watch for the shift, what am I talking about? You will notice if you spend 24 hours with your baby that they go through many different moods throughout the day. At times they will be really calm. So like right after a breastfeeding session, they've got that milk drunk. If they're awake, obviously many babies will just fall asleep after you feed them. But that's also calm. Your baby is not peeing or pooping when they're asleep most of the time. Okay, so watch for this shift. What does this mean, really? You will notice that if your baby is very calm, and then all of a sudden they shift, they become agitated, irritated, or they become really frantic when they were calm before. A lot of times you will see babies who especially this goes for older babies. If you have an older mobile baby, they're playing, they're happy, they're making noises, they're cooing, they're talking. And then all of a sudden, you don't hear them anymore. Where did they go? What are they doing? You might notice that your baby will often get really quiet and go and hide behind the couch or a chair. And then suddenly you have a poop to change. Guess what? They know what's happening and they're hiding from you on purpose. So if you notice this, you notice that they're hiding, you can walk in and be like, hey, it looks like you need to poop. Let's go to the potty. Get them there, engage, make it fun. But if you wait until after the fact, they've already pooped, you're too late. They're probably not going to need to go again. But if they're just happily playing and they're building their giant baby Legos and then you're like, hey, let's go to the potty, they don't need to go. They're going to be super frustrated. And why are you pulling me away from my Lego tower that I'm building? And now we're going to the potty. It makes no sense. And so your timing is everything. You actually recognizing your baby's body language, your baby's sound cues, your baby's facial expressions, the energetic shift that happens when your baby goes from calm, happy, content, doesn't need to go, to, oh, shoot, I actually need to pee. I actually need to poop. And they may or may not be having this conscious thought, but let me tell you, I have observed with all three of my babies, I didn't know that I could respond to this language with my first, but with my second and my third baby, I did start responding to it. I was doing elimination communication as a practice. And I very clearly saw from newborn that my babies would show me with their body language, with their facial expressions, with their eyebrows and their looks. And eventually they started using the hand sign that I taught them to communicate intentionally that they needed to go to the bathroom. But your baby is always letting you know whether you have done this intentionally, you're responding consistently, or you've never taken them to the potty in their life. Your baby is showing you with their body language and their sounds and their facial expressions in some way, shape, or form, even if you are not aware of it, even if it's subtle. For many babies, if you have never taken them to the potty, then the cues will fade. It will become harder and harder to recognize them as time goes on, but they're still there. And to the trained eye, it's very, very clear what's going on. And I just want to reiterate that this is a skill you can learn. This is a skill that you can get better at over time as you practice it. It's not something that I was born with and you were not, that I have and you don't, or that it's somehow easy for me because X, Y, and Z circumstance. Let's be honest. My circumstances have been incredibly hard, actually. I'm a working mom. I did postpartum solo, as I mentioned, with my 3 children, with my youngest baby. And I went back to work at 12 weeks. I went back to work at 8 weeks with my daughter, my second baby. And I have still been able to make it work, even with childcare, simply because I know what I'm looking at. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And if you have tried EC with your baby, but you're having a hard time catching anything, or maybe you haven't tried it at all yet and you're just not sure that your baby's signaling, I really want to encourage you to try the First Catch Weekend. One of the mamas in the First Catch Weekend, I loved what she wrote to me after this experience. And I just want to share this because I think it's so relatable for so many of you. She wrote to me and she explained that she had started EC with her baby around 3 months and it was going pretty well up until now. And she says, baby is now 10 months and I thought for sure he'd be telling me when he wanted to go, whether it was signing or eye contact, but he doesn't. And he gets upset during diaper changes and being placed on the potty unless he actually needs to poop, which went from once or twice a day to about 3 times a week. I was frustrated that it was getting harder instead of easier and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I decided to try your weekend, hoping something would work, but secretly doubting it because my baby was too old and I'd already tried it. Well, lo and behold, I saw the squirm. I got minimal complaining on the changing table and a pee right away. I can't believe it was that easy. Like you said, I cannot unsee it now. We even caught a second pee while we were at a friend's house. Y'all, this is happening to so many of you, and I know this because you're writing to me and it's landing in my DMs and in my emails, but if you are struggling with your baby refusing the potty now, after it was going really well for a while, it is almost always because you're not offering at the right time. And so I just really want to encourage you to be open to seeking help with this. I have the First Catch Weekend where I show you exactly precisely when to look for the signal and what exactly that looks like. So if you've been missing it or you're not quite sure what it is, I will show you with surgical precision the exact minute to look for it with your baby over the weekend. This is running every single weekend now, and it goes out on Friday evening. But it is okay to seek help for something that you are not familiar with or that is not a skill that you have learned already. Let me give you an example. With my first baby, I had planned to exclusively breastfeed him. And after he was born, he wasn't premature, but he was like 37 and 5 days. He was sleepy. He didn't want to wake up. He didn't want to eat. And he lost a ton of weight in the first 24 hours. And so they were trying to get me to supplement with formula, and they had me pumping and to get colostrum because he wasn't getting enough. And they were like, oh, he needs to eat, he needs to eat. And I had this feeling of, but breastfeeding is natural. I should just be able to do it. It should just be easy. And I had such a hard time getting him to latch. Couldn't get him to latch. He just wanted to sleep. I couldn't get him to wake up to eat. And finally, the hospital lactation consultant came in my room and she sat down with me and she's like, okay, let me just show you how to do this. And she literally grabbed my boob, made a hamburger with it, and stuck it in my baby's mouth. And he latched immediately. And we had a great feed, and then he was fine. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's a hamburger move. You just do the hamburger, and then you latch it like so, and you tilt it like this, and you nuzzle the baby like that. And after I saw it happen, and she did it for me, it was so much easier after that. And we had a great breastfeeding journey, and I breastfed him for 2 years. And I have had a fantastic breastfeeding journey with my other 2 younger kids. And so I just want to share that little anecdote because, like breastfeeding, EC is this very natural, very intuitive thing that many of us who are interested in feel like, well, I should just be able to figure it out. I should just know how to do it. It should just come naturally. But the truth is, EC is a skill just like breastfeeding. And if nobody has ever shown you exactly what to do and exactly what to look for, you can have a really hard time getting started. And that is why I've created the First Catch Weekend for you, to show you precisely this is what the signal looks like so that you see it. And once you see it and your baby, you're going to be like, oh, the lights are going to come on. You're never going to be able to unsee it. And that is going to change everything for your practice. So whether you go on to do my full Born Ready course and ditch the diapers and all that other stuff, and all of that is there if you want more help. But if you just need help figuring out your baby's signal and the rest of it you got, First Catch Weekend all the way. It is going to show you precisely what you need to be looking for so that you can stop having the frustration of offering at the wrong time, not quite getting the timing right, don't know what's going on. This is going to show you exactly what's going on. All right, I hope that was super helpful for you and that you can take that with you into your week. And don't forget to check out the link for the First Catch Weekend down below. It starts every Friday evening. I'll see you there. If there are things you would love for me to talk about, questions that you may have, you've tried this with your baby and you want to share a win with me, you can either DM me at readyfrombirth.ec on Instagram, or you can write to me at hello@readyfrombirth.com. If you loved today's episode, would you take a moment to help me reach even more mamas with this message? Leave me a review or share this with a friend. You can help even more families discover what's possible. You can find education and support for every stage of your baby's potty learning journey at readyfrombirth.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back every Monday with a brand new episode. See you next time. Bye for now.